France, 1764. The Beast of Gévaudan terrorizes the kingdom, officially claiming over 80 lives and forcing King Louis XV to deploy his army. Everyone is familiar with this case, but what history has forgotten is that the military might of feudal Japan also trembled before a similar threat. Welcome to the year 1235 in the fortress city of Kamakura, capital of the samurai. During this cursed winter, it is not an isolated threat that besieges the city, but an invisible, relentless force that will push the shogunate to the brink of political paranoia, as well as social and military chaos. To understand, you must picture Kamakura. This is no wooden village. It is a highly secured fortress city, surrounded by steep mountains and the ocean. No one can enter without the guards' permission. Yet, the winter of 1235 begins with a major climatic anomaly, a mini ice age that will bring terrible consequences for society as a whole, but also for the local wildlife. Unprecedented blizzards wall off the forests. Deprived of game and starving, an unpredictable danger is about to descend from the mountains. It all begins at the Gokoruji Pass. On a stormy night, a sentry, a seasoned samurai, vanishes. In the morning, his comrades make a macabre discovery. His sword is still in its scabbard. His arrows are untouched. On the ground, amidst the blood-stained snow, lies only his leather plate armor. No trace of his body, just giant paw prints. For the terrified and deeply superstitious garrison, these are no ordinary animal tracks. Rumors of a demon or yokai descended to punish mankind spread instantly. The rumor is launched. The monsters have invaded the gates. To make matters worse, a dust mist blowing from the deserts of Asia paints the sky a crimson red. For the samurai and the locals, this is divine proof. Paralyzed by the fear of a curse, the army refuses to act during the initial attacks, and inaction will carry a heavy price. One night, the unthinkable happens. A pack infiltrates the very heart of power. Inside the shogunate's private stables, the warhorses panic. The invisible attackers do not just kill, they trigger a massive stampede. Dozens of chargers flee, screaming through the dark streets. It is total chaos. In pitch-black darkness, believing they are fighting the monsters, the samurai shoot arrows at anything that moves. By morning, the toll is catastrophic. The soldiers have accidentally killed one another, striking down their own mounts and their own brothers in arms. The point of no return is reached on Uehahama Beach, south of the city. This is where the shogunate exposes the remains of executed criminals. Drawn by the scent of blood, entire packs settle there in broad daylight. One afternoon, as officials and bystanders gather to witness an execution, the enemy finally shows itself. In the light of day, they surround the crowd without a single shred of fear. Cornered by the high tide on one side and the cliffs on the other, high-ranking magistrates have no choice but to throw themselves into the water, fully clothed. They will spend hours floating in the freezing ocean, bordering on hypothermia, under the gaze of the predators pacing the shoreline and staring them down. Faced with this public humiliation, the regent spirals into political paranoia. Rumors spread that shadow clans are using inugami sorcery. Canine spirits invoked through black magic to control these packs and assassinate the rulers of Kamakura. The response will be total. The shogun decrees an absolute curfew. Anyone caught outside after sunset will be executed on the spot. To break the darkness where the shadows hunt, the shogunate installs thousands of hanging iron baskets filled with burning pine resin every 20 meters. Kamakura takes on the look of a hellish fortress. The army deploys its ultimate strike force, the masters of Yabasami, elite mounted archers. Unable to track these animals conventionally within the dense forests, the archers strap pieces of dried meat directly onto their armor and attach bells to their bows. They ride out into the dark, acting as live bait. And finally, under the raw light of a torch, hand-to-hand combat erupts. It is at this exact moment that the soldiers make a terrifying realization. Even for wolves driven by hunger, this behavior is completely abnormal. Faced with arrows, torches, and horses, any wild predator would have fled. But these creatures rush the soldiers with frantic aggression. The samurai realize they are not facing a simple, starving pack, but animals possessed by an invisible, destructive madness, rabies. Now that the exact nature of the danger is understood, the hunt intensifies. To clear the impassable terrain, the shogunate throws its massive mastiffs, war dogs, into the battle. To ensure the wolves do not attack them at the throat, the handlers coat the mastiffs in a sacred sulfur-based war paint. The unbearable chemical odor disrupts the wolves' sense of smell and allows the hounds to sweep the area. As the war rages on, the year 1235 offers a new twist. A massive meteor shower streaks across the sky. For the terrified people, it is the ultimate omen. The gods are sending shooting stars to feed the demonic wolves. Panicked, the government is forced to halt all military operations immediately. The shogun orders the entire population and the army to lock themselves inside the temples to recite purification sutras, leaving the streets completely empty and defenseless, abandoned to the mercy of the packs for several nights in a row. It is during this forced truce that rumors and eyewitness reports finally converge into one persistent story. Survivors swear they saw the leader of the pack, the white wolf of Gajiki Hill, a canine of monstrous size. The urban legend of the time claims it to be the reincarnation of the spirit of an ancient Buddhist temple destroyed years earlier during the clan wars, come to take its revenge on the samurai. Then, in the spring, the attacks stop as abruptly as they had begun, coinciding with the mysterious disappearance of this famous white wolf. What actually happened? Behind the myth of demons lay a dual ecological and scientific reality. First, the mini ice age that forced these starving animals down from the snow-covered mountains to find easy prey in the city. Second, the rabies virus, likely brought in by merchant ship dogs, which ultimately decimated the Honshu wolves. The exact human toll of this massacre remains an absolute mystery. Unlike the highly precise records kept in France for the Beast of Gévaudan, the medieval Japanese chronicles of the Azuma Kagami did not count individual losses. This 1235 crisis would mark the beginning of an invisible war between man and wolf in Japan, which would unfortunately lead, centuries later, to the total extinction of the species. In the Middle Ages, the shogun levied a tax on rice. For my part, I will settle for a tax on the thumbs up if you liked the story. Thank you for watching, and see you very soon for new extraordinary stories.